SML, welcome to another and maybe the last, since we're going to drop some people, maybe change the name, but for now we're going to be on Legal Talking. Yet again, probably the second episode. We've got the same cast as always. We got Dom, Doink, and Q. You guys want to say hello?
So,
Hey, how we doing?
hello there.
Yeah, just a quick episode today. I know everyone was looking forward to the fourth and inches yesterday, and it never got posted, so figured we'd get something out to the league. I know everyone's been kind of crying in the background, sending me DMs, but yeah, just for the league, not for the content points at the end of the season. But I guess just jumping into it, bunch of new guys in the chat. We see, Stavo joining. Wine's pretty new. Can't even think of all of them. We got whoever is coming to replace Dom here shortly. They're kind of getting introduced to the SML narratives. And I guess just piggybacking off of that, do you guys think that narratives affect your gameplay? Have you had any, about you, and do you think it affects others, and what should they be looking out for? Anyone want to volunteer to start on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first here since I guess I might be the only person in chat whose nickname is also a narrative. That started my first playoff game ever played. You doink one kick, and then you doink another kick, and next thing you know, we're here. I think it goes both ways. I think specific narratives, the doink thing. I mean, hey, I appreciate a good pun. That's pretty much what it was. That never got to me. I thought it was kind of funny actually because I didn't think it was necessarily fitting, and I'm glad we did kind of prove that people wrong on that by actually getting us in Barty. But I also think that narratives can shape gameplay when it's think of some of the narratives that I've ripped through this league. Oh, if you return kicks, you're cheese. If you run inside zone, you're this. If you this and that. There's certain things that are broad scope across the league, and I think that affects gameplay across the league. As we saw a stark downturn in kick returns because half the league, or at least a vocal minority, whatever you want to call it, was going off about how kick returns were cheese. Next thing you know, people stop returning kicks and basically shaming the people who were, which for better or worse, it certainly affected league-wide gameplay. On the individual side of things, if everyone has things that people kind of gripe about individuals' gameplay. Whether it's this person only throws drags into the running back, or this person throws slot seams, or this person throws to the tight end. That's the stuff that can affect you in games, but I think the best players tune it out. When it comes to playoffs, the best players they ignore the narratives, they ignore the peanut gallery, and they go out and they play their game and they win games.
Dom, what do you have to add to that?
He took all the answers.
Two
It
of them were
definitely
personalized.
impacts.
How's that possible?
It definitely impacts things. I've been lucky enough in my SML career to never be too victimized by the narratives. But just even like watching some streams back of my playoff games, guys would be like, "He's going to do this," and it kind of made me think about it, and I switched it up later on. Casting King, you see that language get used a little bit this cycle, and you see a lot more quarterback stats getting posted in the chat. So it's definitely in people's heads what other people are saying, and they want to prove it wrong and prove themselves right. It would be irresponsible to say it doesn't, but I mean, also one other thing is like inside zone, kick return, basically anything Matt doesn't want to do or refuses to do in any situation ever. That's how you know it was a narrative, and people look down on it. That's the litmus test.
Q as the target of the SML media pretty often. I'm sure you've had your fair share of narratives against you.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, for the most part, the worst thing against me is that I pass it while I'm still winning by like double-digit scores, and if that's the worst thing I do, I'll take it usually. But I definitely do think that narratives affect both sides. I think that if you're going into a game against a player, maybe it's not a narrative, what I'm going to say, or maybe it is, or partially what I'm going to say is that when you're going into a game where you know you're playing a guy that does favor some of these things that the SML does hate so much, like shotgun runs, a bunch of RPOs. I mean, I guess some guys actually hate trips when people just run trips formations a bunch and shotgun formations. So, like, I think that when you're going into a game against somebody like that, you do right away. You don't want to play him. I mean, I know that firsthand speaking to some of you guys privately before that, if you're playing somebody or if even I've voiced that I don't like playing one of you guys, it's not also always about a gameplay, but it's sometimes just a narrative of playing somebody. Maybe Bean's just too sticky. It makes you go crazy playing and trying to tackle him, things like that. Or on the other hand, if you get a bad narrative about yourself, like, yeah, this guy does run a ton of our or inside zones or whatever the case may be. Now, what I will say, some guys actually just don't even care at all. Like, they don't care if they're labeled this. They don't care if this is what people frown upon. They will still do it. They have no moderation. They don't care. They'll just keep doing it. And kudos to them, because it's hard to do. Because it's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it's definitely in the back of my mind too. I think the only narrative about me is probably the folding at the end of games, and I just want to come out and say it's absolutely true. So I can't even can't even deny that one. I know back whenever I had the Titans, it was the whole freight train thing, and then I'd let that get into my head, and then I'd choke because I'd quit running, and then I eventually traded Henry and got even more OP ability with Russell Wilson. So there's that. But yeah, I think those are really the only two that have been about me, unless I'm completely blanking on one because I didn't spend much time thinking about it. But
One thing though about our game, just because I
oh
mentioned
boy,
you in the narrative
here
thing,
we
I don't
go.
want people to. No, I don't want people to think. That's what I'm trying to clarify. I don't want people to think negatively when I mentioned you. For the first time in the entire cycle in the AFC, in an AFC versus AFC game, there was no shotgun runs except for Justin Herbert on one play where he had to make a couple reads and get out.
Yeah, that
No
was fine.
shotgun runs by
I
a
think it
running back.
was.
First time ever in this cycle.
I think you sat. Probably is the first time this cycle, but I think you sat in
AFC
the
versus AFC.
pocket for
Mhm.
like I think it was like 3 reads and then you took off. I'm completely fine with that. And I think it was only one run the entire game from a
There's only
QB.
one
So
run. Yep.
yeah, that was an enjoyable
Okay.
game. Good stuff, Q.
Just wanted to mention that. Just wanted to mention that.
So I guess piggybacking off of that, who are some of your guys' favorite people to play just in general? I mean, I know you probably play your division mates the most, but is there anyone outside of your division that maybe you really enjoy playing? Doink, you want to start us off again?
Yeah, I'll start. I have two answers to this question. One of which is on this pod with me. I think I love playing Dom. It's always a good game. It's always competitive. He might want to just murder me after he sees Bijan Robinson on the field one more time, but they're always competitive. I think he plays a good, clean game. He runs different stuff than the quote unquote meta that the league runs. Those are always enjoyable games. I think it's someone I look to as a kind of a competitive peer. So it's games I look forward to. Those are the type of games where it's we're competitive people, we're a competitive league. Never mind, a good person to play against, and I'm very upset that I will not get to play against him twice next year. Though he may look differently with it being the Falcons this time.
Dom.
The
Oh,
other
actually, you have
guy
two. Sorry. Good.
sorry. The other guy I really like playing against is Monty. Mostly even though he just clapped my cheeks today, pun intended for Daryl and Monty Cheeks. Those games are always chaos. I like watching a Monty stream. You never know what's going to happen. We're Team Chaos over here. Playing Monty is always an adventure. I don't care what his record is or what he says. He always puts up a good fight. We've been battling each other since the primer days. And you're always going to see something that you've never seen before in a game against Monty. So that's fun in its own way.
Dom, after he just completely blew up your or I guess I don't know what the word is. I'm just gonna quit. Dom, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I was actually going to say Doink is one of my answers as well. They're always really competitive. Bijan and Kyle Pitts are still in my nightmares, and I'm happy to never see them again. My answer was going to be Prime, and this is kind of going back a little bit to my Mac Jones Raiders teams. Those were that was my most enjoyable cycle by far, the most fun I've ever had playing Madden. And it seemed like every year Prime and I met in the playoffs, and every game was like a 3-point game. Um, pretty even. I think he got better maybe by a game or two, but I always really looked forward to those games. I thought our teams were pretty equal, and we kind of knew what the other person was going to do, and it was kind of a matter of if you could stop it and make the right play at the right time. And so that was always fun. And I'm just going to give a shout out to QP because I've been playing the guy for I think 8 years now. So a lot of battles outside of the SML and inside the SML.
Q,
And
you
I
got
was
something?
gonna just, yeah, I was actually gonna sandbag Dom for the whole prime spiel right now, but then he mentioned me at the end, so I have to just say thank you for that. But Dom, I think, is on everybody's list if you were probably to ask around the league. Very enjoyable to play, definitely on mine as well. For all the reasons that Doink said, that you're gonna get a hard battle, you're gonna get a really competitive game, and it's not gonna come in a sour way at the end of it where you're going to leave being like, man, did he really do that? Or did he really resort to that? Or like things like that. Um, Another one, I actually, Bean said division mates. I hate playing division mates, but I love playing Gutta because Gutta's for the same reason. Gutta plays me very hard. Pause. He does. He knows my game, obviously, and we have a lot of very competitive battles. We've been playing Madden, obviously, against each other forever. Um, and he typically against me, maybe against other guys he plays different, but against me because he knows how I feel. We always have a very clean game as well. And then maybe this makes people throw up, but I actually like playing Matt. I for similar again similar reasons. I don't find myself in a ton of close games where he's not calling timeouts where I feel like he should call timeouts against me. I'm saying. I'm watching some games where it's just extremely frustrating watching him. But against me, I've never had those types of situations. It's always just another hard, clean battle, usually defensive game where it comes down to whoever makes that first turnover. So
Yeah, two of my final four were Dom, obviously. It seems like it's kind of the consistent answer here. And then Matt as well. I know I played him, I think, like week 5 or 6 or something. It was probably one of the most enjoyable games I've had all cycle. Just a back and forth defensive game where I think both of our QBs had like a QBR combined of like 30 points. And it was a horrible game for both sides. I think we both threw like a combined 8 picks, maybe 0 touchdowns. Just an ugly game on offense, but it was just one of those fun ones to play. But I won't steal those ones, and I guess I'm just gonna go one guy that I keep saying I enjoy playing him, and maybe it's just because of the limitations in the AFC with regards to abilities, but playing Dan, it seems like I keep getting lined up to play Dan, and it's just one of those games where we both have like a similar play style, and we both have pretty even teams for the most part. We have strengths in different places, obviously, but nobody has, inside stuff. Nobody has set feet lead, no jukebox, nothing like that. And then another guy that didn't get brought up was AJ. And AJ is one of those guys that I feel like have the same moderation that I look for in like a guy like Dom or Matt, and he's one of those guys that will only run the same like passing play once per game. You don't have to worry about seeing that ever again. And I know he said that to me in a DM once, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably keep track of which plays I run to not do that because most of the time I just pick plays. Everyone thinks I study and all this stuff, but I just pick the plays that I like, and I probably pick them too many times. So I tried to emulate his tactics there, and I've only been running one of like the same play per game, and I think that makes me a better player. So just a shout out to him for that.
Good
Just
shout
just
out.
so we're clear here, all of you being nice to me and answering me is not going to make me come back. So
You'll be back
um,
eventually. You'll just need like 4 months off, and we'll see you again.
I thought that's why he was buttering Prime up so he can just get an instant spot back.
Yeah, I mean,
no, no, no.
we've got Stavo up here at this point, so your spot's always open, as far as I'm concerned. Just kidding, Stavo. You're top like 30.
Plus, then he'd be in Prime's division. So hey,
Well, Dom will not be back this cycle. Let's let's not get too it's too late for me.
we're
Um,
spiraling.
I'm spiraling. Yep. And I guess Dom just coming in there and kind of showing his will or it's too late. Let's just jump
You want
into
to
the
just move
next
on to the
one.
next topic?
Yeah, what is
Jeez.
ideal loser etiquette?
Yeah.
I'm all over the place today, guys. I think I'm drunk or something. I haven't taken a sip. Doink, start us off again.
Ideal loser etiquette. There's
Or just some
no,
gripes. Whatever you want to
yeah,
get to.
I mean, we might go both directions. There's no, absolute handbook. The gist is, take your lumps the same way you take your victories. Win with class, lose with class. Like, it's that simple. Like, some guys want to have a whole spiel after a game going back and forth. Other guys, especially after a tough loss, want to say their GG and get out. At the very least, you say GG. Don't be talking, running your mouth in chat, going off about this and that when you win and how, you own this person, that person, it's your division, yada, yada, yada. And then after you lose, you don't even do the courtesy of saying GG. At the very least, you say GG. That's like the bare minimum, you know? That's kind of really my biggest gripe. I know I've been cited in the past as saying, "Oh, only public GGs." That got blown out of proportion. If if you're gonna DM a GG, cool. Like if someone else DMs you, I think you expect to DM back, perhaps. The public ones, all I was talking about was, it seems like there's an obligation to then respond. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. End of the day, win with class, lose with class. Guys who don't say GG though should be getting hit in evals or something.
Dom, go ahead.
I'm a simple man. I just want a GG, and let's both move on with our day. Um, that's it. If something crazy happens, or a weird animation, and we both know it happened, I'll take a complaint or just like a laugh about it. But I just want a GG, and I'm on my way out. I don't like people who don't say GG. I played Wine once, beat him. He did not respond to my GG in chat or in public. I don't like that. That's what I don't want from a loser.
All right. Q, as a division mate with Wine, who you've played a couple times, go ahead and follow that one up.
Well, Wine beat me, so he says GG. Uh, and I haven't had those issues, obviously. I'm not going to speak directly about him only. Loser chat etiquette. I'm probably one of the biggest sore losers, so I don't know if this topic was designed for me or what, but I'm not good at giving advice on this topic. I would say for loser chat etiquette, just don't bring it into the social chat. Um, it's entertaining, obviously, for the 28 other people to read. It's funny. We all enjoy it. I'm one of them that enjoys it. I actually get a kick out of it, but it's not a good look. It brings a headache to a lot of people behind the scenes. Um, and if you're going to have those types of situations, it's best that you keep it to yourself or maybe go find somebody to hug. I don't know.
Fair enough, and I don't really have much to add since the main topic was gone, but I guess I'll just piggyback on something that I talked about a few videos ago, and I guess it's just the mid-game GGs and people giving up. That always rubs me the wrong way. I guess it's kind of hand in hand with a loser etiquette. If you want to, concede, let's just run the clock out. I don't want to waste 15 minutes watching you play action pass with like a minute left, and there's you're down 3 scores. That's just kind of, I don't know. It gets tedious. I'm busy. I'm trying to go to bed. But that's really all new ideas that I have to add.
I've got one more to add actually. Don't blame EA after the game ends. Like EA sucks. The game sucks. You're gonna get bad animations. 99% of the time, there's 35, 40 other plays that affected the game. Don't just be the game sucks and take away from your.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone falls victim to that, so it's hard to critique that when I know I've done it myself, but I definitely don't think it's the right move. Doesn't mean that I adhere to that. But Dom, I guess, do you have any parting words before we head out of here?
I do. Just kind of want to say my piece here. I've been in the SML for I think 3 years now. I'm bad at math, but 3 years seems right. Um, it's been fun. A lot of good memories. My favorite will always be Nashville. To meet up in Nashville. A few shout outs I want to give going to Nashville for the Uber Five. Clinky, Baz, Coop, Matt, some good gentlemen. We really bonded and some good dudes Ubering all over the state of Tennessee. You three gentlemen, no one's heard me complain and bitch more than you three over the last few months. So thank you for your patience and your friendship. QP and Gutta, man, we've been playing Madden together since 2016. I was a sophomore in college living in a 2-bedroom apartment for $500, drinking Four Locos and smoking cigarettes. So, come a long way since then. Been a pleasure. Prime, you know how I feel. You run a good league here. I know it's hard. You put up with a lot of shit. Um, yeah, DMs are always open. Stay in touch. Hoping to commentate one more playoff game with Prime. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, I mean, thank you, SML. I'm just, at the end of the day, I hate this game. It's not fun loading up. It's been that way for a while. Prime's talked me out of like 2 retirements already. He was not going to do it a third time. So I'm on my way out. I'll be at some Cubs games all summer, drinking some beers and hanging out with friends, and gonna go have some pina coladas on the beach with my good friend Stephen D. So yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Well, no,
Well said.
yeah, I think we speak for everyone whenever we say, we'll miss you, we'll miss your gameplay, we'll miss your, random chat intrusions whenever, the Saints are brought up during team draft. That's always one of my favorite memories of you in the league. Just, you'd be silent for 2 days, and as soon as someone says the Saints are an okay looking team, it's like you're in there within a half second, just lurking, waiting for someone to even spew the name.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the hardest parts of deciding to leave. I finally got the Saints for a cycle. I feel like I built a really good roster here. I like a lot of my players, but I'm not having fun. So I owe it to myself to spend the time that I'm dedicating to this league elsewhere. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yep, good decision.
True,
Hopefully,
true
it's not the
SML.
end.
Hopefully not. See ya.
Never say never.
Never say never. All right, SML. I guess that's it. Sucks we have to leave on a a bit of a, a down note, but that's the way she goes sometimes. So yeah, let's see if we can get this uploaded tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being on the show with me, and that's it.